The Leeds City Council passed a new zoning ordinance 2 years ago over the protests of many citizens, and 2 years later it's still under fire, and now it's on trial. This mural behind me was painted by Huck's Rib Shack 3 weeks ago to get some extra business into the store. But the Leeds zoning ordinance says it has to come down or be approved by the council. Owner Glenn Huck Kirkland says that this could negatively affect his business.
Simple facts. Put it up for my advertising of cars coming through and leaving Leeds. Real simple. And I don't know, just it attracts business. Simple as that. I painted this mural up about three and a half, 4 weeks ago. And it's not a mural, it's basically my logo is what it did. My son and I did it ourselves to cut costs, save money. And I didn't know I needed to have approval of the council because I've already got it on my originals and signed on the front. We get a phone call from the city, some people that work at the city. It was during my lunch rush hour, like 11:30, 12 o'clock. My son answered the phone. He couldn't talk to the guy because he was screaming and hollering at him on the phone. I said, "Dad, answer this." So I went over there and took it, and he told me who he was and such. I said, "Yeah, I know who you are." Ended up just listening to him, and the customer was standing there. I pulled my phone up and just kind of laughed and listen to this guy, you know. But anyway, he did it on a really not in a business fashion for a person of that caliber that has a job of this, description. It just kind of offended me. I just didn't like how they handled it. It wasn't handled business oriented. The guy calls up on the phone screaming and hollering like a 10-year-old child. I mean, he could have come at 4 or 5 on slow peak time in person and acted in an orderly fashion. I would have sat there, I'll do anything that needs to be done. But I honestly didn't know that I had to have a bunch of people say it was yay for me to paint my little logo. Winds up, I kind of let him know, do what you have to do. I was threatened by being fined. I was threatened to be, painted over unless I got city council, which I jumped right on that. I'm on the agenda. I'm going this Monday, and I got a lot of people following me there, including, Owen Grace, Kathy Gray. She was standing there when all this was taking place. She said she'd be there, pull for us, all over the side.
Huck's isn't alone. This weight loss clinic is also awaiting a decision on whether they can keep their current sign, which is legal in places like Hoover and Moody, but is too large for the Leeds zoning ordinance. And this church had to take down their signs for a vacation Bible school, also because of the Leeds zoning ordinance. It's not just that businesses and organizations can't get what they want. There's also the matter of consistency. There are already businesses with murals, like Huck's, painted before the zoning ordinance went into effect. And Bass Pro Shops has received a variance allowing them to use a larger sign than the current ordinance allows for, the same kind of variance Slim Savvy is seeking. It was issues like these that prompted Leeds business owner Keith Hall to file a lawsuit against Leeds. He claims that the ordinance was not properly noticed, which would make the whole thing illegal.
Well, this administration chooses to just, hand a zoning ordinance down from on high, and it's totally illegal and it is totally unworkable, as you can see by the various problems that businesses are beginning to encounter with it. Without notifying me, without talking to me, without discussing anything about it with me, this administration decided to rezone a couple of pieces of property I own that were zoned heavy industrial to R2, which is residential zoning. I found out about it by reading it in the newspaper one morning when I was having breakfast. So, we inquired about it, and come to find out they had indeed decided to change my zoning. We protested it. They just railroaded it through with the mayor and his 3 rubber stamp city council members. So, we were left no alternative but to file a lawsuit. So we filed a lawsuit, and from there it expanded into the fact that this zoning ordinance is an invalid zoning ordinance. They did not enact it properly. Several people, including your publication last year, or nearly 2 years ago, when this zoning ordinance was passed, said, put the brakes on this thing. Let's study it. Let's make sure that we're putting a document in place that is the document we actually need. We need community input, we need business input, we need input from the environmental community, we need input from every corner. But no, this administration chose to ramrod a zoning ordinance through. They did it improperly and spent several hundreds of thousands of dollars doing it. And that is one of the problems when you have an administration like the current administration that attempts to be a dictatorial administration. They got no input from the community. Actually, they shunned input from the community, refused to come to public hearings about it. It just seems like it would be a whole lot a better document if they had sought input from all of the stakeholders involved. Anyone who would be interested in a zoning ordinance, you would think that they would sit these groups of people around the table and say, you know, let's, for the good of the community, let's all meet in the middle and come up with a plan that works for everyone, but at the same time moves our community forward. Several people in this community, in this administration in particular, have talked about bringing business to the city of Leeds. They've talked about it. I've actually done it. I've brought several businesses to the first Leeds exit. We brought businesses to downtown. And it seems like every time we've brought a business to town, not only have we not had cooperation from this administration, they've been actively hostile to businesses.
It could all come to a head on Thursday, May 31st, when a judge decides whether the zoning ordinance is legal or whether there needs to be a full trial. Either way, the days of this Leeds zoning ordinance may be numbered. This has been Justin Hogan, reporting for Herald News of Alabama.